TruGossip, Sunday morning inspiration. From setbacks to comebacks, embracing grace in every season. Good morning, TruGossip family. Welcome to our first beautiful Sunday morning episode of inspiration, reflection, and empowerment. I'm Tanya Cole Lennon, and I'm so glad you're here with me today as we sip on our coffee or tea, recharge our spirits, and prepare for the week ahead. Today's topic is close to my heart. From setbacks to comebacks, embracing grace in every season. Life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? One moment, everything seemed to be going smoothly, and the next, we're hit with a curveball. We never saw it coming. Maybe that happened to you in the past week. It happened to me more times than I can count. But here's the good news. Setbacks don't define us. It's how we rise from them that shapes our story. Let's talk about what a setback really is. Sometimes it's losing a job. Other times it's a missed opportunity or even just a rough week that makes you feel like you're standing still. Just this week, I spoke with someone who felt stuck in their career and overwhelmed with life's demands. I reminded them, and I'm reminding you, that setbacks don't mean failure. They mean redirection. Sometimes the pause we're forced to take is God's way of saying, wait, hold up. I got something better coming. Think about someone like Tyler Perry, who faced years of homelessness while trying to break into the entertainment industry. He didn't let that stop him. Instead, he allowed his experience to fuel his vision. Today, he's one of the most successful creators of our time. His story proves that the space between a setback and a comeback is called perseverance. If you're like me, you leaned on faith more times than you can count. Faith is the anchor when that storm of life feels like they're about to pull you under. One verse that speaks to me during hard times is Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who loves him. This past week, I found myself reflecting on how important it is to give ourselves grace when we feel like we're falling short. Sometimes we're harder on ourselves than anyone else. I know I'm very hard on myself, but God's grace is sufficient, and his mercies are new every morning. Even if you had a rough week, maybe you didn't hit the goals you set for yourself, but guess what? You're still here, and that's the reason to keep going. I heard from a listener who shared how they've been struggling to get back on track after losing their job. I reminded them of this simple truth. What's ahead is greater than what's behind. Setbacks are temporary, but the lesson they teach us are permanent. That's grace in action. Now let's get practical. How do we take these setbacks and turn them into comebacks? Here are 3 things I've learned. First, shift your mindset. Don't ask, why me? Instead, ask, what's next? Second, surround yourself with positive influence, whether it's friends, mentors, or even this podcast. Feed your spirit with encouragement. And third, start small. Set one manageable goal for the week. Maybe it's applying for one new job, or taking 10 minutes to pray or meditate. This reminds me of a conversation I had earlier this week with a client who was overwhelmed by their job search and needed a fresh start. I said, focus on one thing at a time. Take a single step forward, and that will build momentum. By the end of that conversation, they had a plan in place and a little more confidence to move forward. That's what turning a setback into a comeback looks like. As we close, I want to encourage you to think about the setbacks you have faced recently. What's one lesson they taught you? How can you take just one step forward this week? Remember, the road to a comeback doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. Here's an affirmation to carry with you. I am not defined by my setbacks, but refined by my comebacks. Say it out loud, write it down, believe it. You got this. Thank you for joining me this Sunday morning on TruGossip Inspiration. I hope today's episode reminded you that setbacks are not the end of the story. They're the beginning of something new. I'll see you next week for more real talk and encouragement. Until then, stay blessed, stay focused, and keep moving forward. Oh, and don't forget to share this episode with someone who needs a little extra inspiration today. See you next time.